everyone, and welcome back to K-All. I'm your host, Angel, and today we are here with a fun little episode. Basically, I'm going to be explaining how I'm able to go to so many free K-pop concerts and meet so many idols. I know, it's a very interesting topic. You might be like, how does she do that? I want to do that too. Well, I'm going to break it down for you how my whole little journey has kind of unfolded and just exactly how I do it. So if that sounds like something exciting, you know what to do. Give this video a like, comment down below, subscribe, and turn on the post notification bell for future uploads. If you're listening on Spotify and Apple, drop a review. Let us know how we've been doing so far and what you want to hear from us next. Without further ado, folks, let's get it. I'm going to be getting into how I've met so many K-pop idols and K-drama actors and just artists all around this year, because I have had quite the track record. If we gloss down memory lane, I've had the chance to meet Wave to Earth, OnePact, Kun, who is a C-pop artist, although I wouldn't even call him C-pop. He's a Chinese singer-songwriter. Taeju Kun is his full name. Mark Twan, Kim Mingue, that's right, Mr. Glasses himself, or as I like to say, Superman, A2L May, and of course, the vocalist of K-pop Demon Hunters. Now that includes most of the people I've met this year, but I've been to many, and Big Ocean, of course, my beloveds. But some free concerts I've been to include Taemin and Hwasa, Jin at the Empire State Building, J-Hope on Jimmy Fallon, Big Ocean, OnePact, you name it. I've basically been around the block. And how have I done this? Well, it all started with something I call turning your passions into money moves. So basically, I decided that I love K-pop. We even knew. Really? You love K-pop? I didn't know. Well, yes, I do, actually. And I realized that I wanted to do a little bit more than just going to the concerts and enjoying them myself, because it's a lot of fun. It's my favorite pastime, but it's a pretty penny. It can be a little tough to keep this livelihood sustainable. So it made me realize, well, what if I get in the room where it happens from a different angle? Watching the concert, spectating as a fan is not enough. I need to be part of the action. I need to be in on the world building and the creation behind these incredible artists. So that's exactly what I did. I stepped into the Disney studio and I said, I want to make history. And that's what this is. So basically, it all kind of unfolded with this podcast, with K-All, because I started pitching myself to different K-pop companies and saying, hey, I want to interview your artist, or hey, let's have a conversation, whether it's remote or in person, I can make it happen. And of course, a lot of people close the door on you. They're like, don't let the door hit you when you walk out. But the more that you ask, the more possibilities where you can receive. And by the grace of God, I got some yeses, and those yeses have allowed for openings into even better possibilities. That brings us to the free concert period of actually getting to go to concerts for free and experience them. So basically, on top of my interviewing as a podcast host, I decided to become a K-pop journalist. Now, how did I decide to become a journalist? Well, I realized while I'm doing these video and audio interviews with the artist, their companies might want some publications. They might want some coverage of the work that we're doing. So it's in the written word and it's something people can search up and find. And that's when it came to me in a dream. What if I do it myself? What if I write everything on top of recording the podcast, on top of being a student in college? Yes, I like to make my plate hefty with a lot of different things on it so I can eat it up. And that's exactly what I did. I started to write. I started to write a lot, starting with my Taeju Kun article for V13, and I'm very proud of what that became and what it accomplished, as it was well received by his fans. But that led to me kind of being a little bit more confident in my ability to do media coverage for multiple events. So I started reaching out. And I started getting the leads. They started accepting me. So KBEE Global is the Korean Brand and Entertainment Expo that I just recently attended. And that was such an experience because they brought Lee Taemin, the idol of idols, into the house. They had him performing at American Dream Mall. Never did I ever think it would be possible to see SHINee's Taemin in a mall in New Jersey. But you know what? They had me GUILTY. I heard he was going to be there, and I knew I needed to cover this event. So that's exactly what I did, and that's how I got there. So I have an article on the way, actually, so stay tuned. It's currently in the production stage, but I believe it really captures the aura that Taemin exuded on that stage. He is such a talented performer. He performed so many songs I never thought I'd be able to hear live, like Guilty and Move and Sexy's in the Air. Sexy's in the air. There was this one song he sang towards the end of the set that was a bit of a ballad. And what really got me was that the sound system, whoever was working on that sound behind the stage, suddenly was away from this system because they did not know what they were doing. And it was way too loud. He couldn't even hear himself, but he was so respectful and professional about it. He just like flung one of his inner ears out and then flung the other one out on the opposite side and just continued to sing without his inner ears because he wasn't having it. He was not having that nonsense. He's Lee Taemin. He was not about to be sabotaged. So he did that. It was so soul ascending. I don't know why. Everybody always talks about how Taemin and Jimin have a similar energy, including Taemin and Jimin themselves, as they mentioned that on Such We Ta, but actually witnessing it in real life was an entirely different experience. It made me realize that they really are cut from the same cloth. The way that Taemin throws his body into the notes when he was doing Guilty was absolutely stellar, absolutely astounding. And it was so satisfying just to hear it kind of reach the top of the mall because I had a bit of a bird's eye view of the stage. Since I was media, they had me in a little box to the side and I was able to really perceive everything going on. The notes just soared into the heavens like Taemin's song Heaven, which you should totally stream. And it was just a sight to behold. And then Hwasa performed before Taemin, and she delivered such an incredible stage as well. I had the chance to see her earlier this year, thanks to my dear friends at iHeartRadio, and she was great then, but I feel like she has tripled in her superstardom since that day, if that makes sense. She totally owned it. I don't know if it's because she went through a breakup, and that's why she wrote that song Good Goodbye, which was a banger, but she had a whole different aura to her. She had the bob, she had the cute little suit jacket with the hot pants on, she was doing her crazy choreography on the floor for Maria, and she did Twit, and she sang Chilly, and every moment was delectable. It was just really, really good, and I was entranced by her. So the fact that she was so entrancing, and then Taemin was like, hold on, hold my high note, and he popped out and gave us the show that nobody could have seen coming. Sexy was in the air, just from every which angle. It was crazy, completely insane. And this event was so cool. If you guys missed the chance to get in on KBEE Global for their first ever North American Expo, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you didn't know about it. And how are you gonna know about these things in the future, my friends? Follow me on No Jams Journaling on Instagram because that's where I announce everything. I let people know that things are happening. And that's how you know that I'm getting in on something, because I want to be in the room where it happens, the room where it happens. So yeah, so KBE Global, they had Taemin, they had Hwasa, they had this one K-drama actress, Ha Ji-won, who absolutely looked so elegant on the stage. I loved her little, white three-piece outfit she had going on. It was very prim and proper, very K-drama of her, and I'm gonna have to watch some of her shows now, because in all honesty, I'm not too familiar with her work. But I am familiar with Taemin and Hwasa's game, that is for sure. And they had these little video booths where you could take your own videos standing with the idols, and they kind of moved around with you so you could pose with them. Taemin's looked so realistic, I was literally able to fool people that I was actually with him. But then Hwasa, she just didn't match in the box. She didn't match in the box, so you could tell it was not Hwasa in the box. It was not Hwasa actually next to me. It was a virtual screen, but it's okay. A girl can dream. A girl can dream. They also had the opportunity for you to step into your favorite K-dramas, so I decided to choose Violence, and I stepped into When Life Gives You Tangerines because I love IU, and I love Park Bo-gum, and I just love to be sad, apparently. So that was really fun. They also gave away so many free albums. What do you mean I got a Lisa Alter Ego, Echo by Jin, 2 free Lisa photo cards, 2 free TXT albums, extra photo cards for IDNTT, which I think is that new boy group under Mod House, and a Plave poster that may or may not be in the corner over there. I got so much free stuff, and it's all thanks to Delivered Korea and K-Town for You. Shout out to Delivered Korea though, they are my goats. If you want to check them out, they're a proxy service that makes it easier to get Korean goods like from Weverse and other companies that you might be interested in. I will link them in the description below. You should definitely check them out. Highly recommend. They are the sweetest. And I will definitely be collaborating with them in the future because I love them. I just love them so much. Anyone who gives me TXT is a friend of mine. I did dance for a free album, which is how I got Lisa Alter Ego. I did Fancy That Twice, in case you were wondering. And that kind of set up the stage for after that whole segment, because they also had a K-pop random dance, which we were able to submit the songs we wanted to dance to beforehand, and then if we were lucky enough, they'd select them. I was lucky enough to get that in, and Spaghetti. I don't play about that though. I ran to the center of that stage and made sure I was making my presence known. But what was so crazy about the random dance was that I thought I was in a bad place at first. Because you know how on random dances, there's the left side, there's the right side, the camera's up front, and then people stand all the way in the back, so it's a little bit harder to get into the center. I chose to stand front and center in the back because I thought that, I don't know, maybe I could just make my way forward and run if I wanted to be up close. But the stage was right behind me, and I didn't think that meant anything because the camera was facing in front of me. But all of a sudden the lights dimmed and a music video started playing behind me, and when I turned around, I saw it was the K-pop rookie girl group At Heart on the screen. So I was like, oh shoot, no way. There's no way they're gonna step out right now, is there? Like, what are the chances? What are the chances? And all of a sudden, after the music video finished playing, for plot twist, the girls popped out and performed. Plot twist, literally right in front of me. I had front row. I had barricade by accident, and it was freaking hysterical. They were so good though. I had no idea. Like, At Heart was not on my radar prior to this, and I'm really upset that they weren't, because Plot Twist and Pushback, amazing songs. Pushback had like an Afrobeat kind of vibe to it, which I love a good Afrobeat, so I was getting my groove on. And then the girls stepped out into the crowd with us and danced with us for a couple of the songs. So that was really fun. Like, such a night to remember. I can't wait for that video to come out on YouTube so we could watch it and I could be like, hey, there it is, there's me. But the funniest thing was at the end of the night when I was in the parking garage with my mom trying to get to our car after the event. Who decides to stroll through when we're using the ATM? At Heart. That's right. Every girl, every member of the group walked directly past me. And I was just there. It was just me and my mom. And nobody was there to see. No one had the proof. I didn't record anything. I was too stunned. But it was hysterical. Because what are the odds that we would be leaving the place at the same time? What are the odds the gods would put us all in one spot? So that happened. That was a lot. That was a 2-day extravaganza of seeing Taemin and Hwasa November 7th to November 8th. I saw them 2 days in a row, by the way, because I went to their fan meets also. And just because that wasn't enough for me, I decided to go see Kim Mingue the day after. So I spent like a good 5 hours with Kim Mingue of Business Proposal for his welcoming home after the military service he just completed. He decided to come to the US for the first time ever for his welcoming back ceremony. Again, in Flushing this time, at the Skyview Mall. Who would expect these grand, incredible idols to be pulling up to New Jersey and New York like this out of the blue? It was so amazing, a dream come true. It's like, I don't need to go to Korea, they're bringing Korea to me. And I think that's just such a beautiful thing. So he was like the sweetest, most gracious person I think that I've ever met. Literally so respectful, so kind. Just a real pleasure to work with, and his whole team was really lovely. I got to see one of my favorite people, Lee, who is an incredible journalist as well as interpreter on occasion for K-pop artists for fun little events. And she's just a doll, so sweet, so shout out to Lee. But yeah, the event was just incredible. It was so much fun. And he sang Love Maybe from Business Proposal. Nobody knew that was coming, so that was the biggest shocker of the day. And just seeing him in his element, be happy with fans, taking all fun little photos, it was just a great day to remember and so much fun. Yes, I did get to take a photo with him, and yes, we did do a hand heart because I needed my K-drama moment, guys. I needed it. And then shortly thereafter, I rushed over to King's Theater because I had to cover Wendy of Red Velvet's concert. Now, this was my first time seeing any of the Red Velvet members in concert, and Wendy has the most soulful, gorgeous vocals I've ever heard. She is a trained vocalist. Like, you can hear. Now I understand why everyone says that SM vocalists know what's up, because SM vocalists know what's up. First you got Taemin literally preaching to the choir, and then you got Wendy taking us to church. Like, the way that she sings is just otherworldly. It was so beautiful, all of her ballads. Something really interesting about her concert that's different from most K-pop concerts is it was seated. Everyone was seated for the entire time, but I kind of needed that, because after the weekend that I had, the whirlwind weekend, and even that day alone with Kim Mingue, I needed to sit down. And it was very lovely and well needed and appreciated, and she did such a great job. It was just so much fun. So I really loved that experience. There were so many great songs. She did a Red Velvet song, which made me really nostalgic. She sang some of her favorite OSTs. She's also a stand-up comedian. I could see why her and Jin get so along, because there was such a comparison between their two concerts. Just the way that they interact with the crowd, the way they're so funny, the way they sing such beautiful ballads, and then they go right back to their goofy little self. Overall, I just really enjoyed it, and I think that Wendy is so cool. I have like so much respect for her after hearing her concert and just seeing her touring like this on her own. It's really incredible to have the chance to see these K-pop soloists kind of step into their own light, into their own element, aside from their groups. You appreciate their role in the group so much more. That's the story of how I managed to see Hwasa, Taemin, Kim Mingue, and Wendy all in the same weekend, and how I survived and lived to tell the story. I was running on absolutely no sleep, just pure whimsy, but we made it happen, and I'm glad that we did. I really enjoyed it, and would I do it again? Heck yes. That's it for now. That's all for K-All. Thanks for listening and tuning in on my little weekly rehashing of things that I've done.